Hey everyone, this is Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers Super Bowl champion. And you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packers content. Go Packers.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Tim in Green Bay. Here to talk some Packers this evening. We got an awesome show for you guys and gals. We're going to hit on the Jordan Love injury. Seen some reports coming out of practice today, so we'll give you guys all the information you need on that. We're going to give you the camp highlights as we have practice. I think it was day 13 today. We'll give you the offensive highlights. We'll give you the defensive highlights. And then if we have time, we'll do a full camp breakdown, of course, and we'll jump into a little chalk talk from the Jets game. Nothing too organized, just individual reps, show them where some guys did some good things, albeit the score would not have reflected that, I don't think. So, but before we do that, let's get this YouTube stuff out of the way. If you would, hit that like button, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. If you're looking for daily Packers content, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you get notified every time we go live. We're going live doing pregame shows, postgame shows, film study, in-depth analysis, the whole 9 yards. So if you're looking for that type of stuff, make sure you stay tuned in here to the channel. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us tonight. Gents, how we doing? How's everybody doing over there tonight?
Feeling good.
Pretty good. 5-ton of rock moved today. A little tired. Ready for a nap after this, but no worries.
Yeah. Hey,
you look better than this guy for sure.
Man, kind of looks like the barber been doing some other kind of rock there, don't it? That's a rough look right there. That's a real rough look. I'm telling you, man. I walk into the barber shop and come out lined up like that. I'm leaving like this.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked. And then
you know what I'm saying? That's how that would be rolling. So I see the chat's already on fire. I want to give a special happy birthday to Daryl in the chat. Congratulations, buddy. Made it to the big 4-0. And I know the chat is on fire. You guys are absolutely
happy
awesome.
Birthday to the Green Bay Packers, too. Shout out to Daryl. So you share a birthday with the Green Bay Packers. 106 years old today. Gotta love it.
Green Bay Packers are, not Daryl, right?
Not Daryl. Well, we don't know. We might have to verify that. We're not sure.
Those are Canadian years, I believe, right?
I thought I might have seen Daryl in the photo from 1919. He might have been one of the guys in the photo with Curly. I don't know.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I think Daryl's up there in Alaska, so maybe every one day it counts as two. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sun never
sometimes he gets the full 24 hours, right? All sunlight, and then so when he gets no sunlight, then we just, it doesn't age there.
Holmes says dog years. There you go. All right, so let's get into it, guys. So obviously there were reports coming out of training camp practice today that Jordan Love had a little bit of an injury. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't hear anything about this coming out of the Jets game. And then lo and behold, they get back in the building today, get back on the practice field. Rob Demovsky tweeted out, quarterback Jordan Love practiced with his left thumb taped. He did everything but was talking to members of the athletic training staff after. Did not appear to be a high level of concern. He also said, you can see in the video from the very beginning of practice that Love has his left thumb taped from the start of today. And again, this isn't going to affect the way he throws the ball or anything. It was just kind of odd because the only thing I remember in that game, guys, was him getting sacked that one time. And don't get me wrong, was anybody else like holding their breath when he got sacked there? Because
yes.
There was bodies all around his ankles and everything. I was really, really nervous there. But I don't think we got anything to worry about here. Do you guys?
No, I don't think so. Was that the play that he heard it on?
I don't know. That's the thing too. It could have been a separate play, right?
Yeah.
I assumed it was that play because that's the only one I remember him really taking any kind of contact. But you know how it is too. You could make a throw, recoil, put your hand against an offensive lineman, and you know what I mean, do something.
Yep. Bang it on someone's helmet or something. We've seen freak stuff like that before, and it was weird. That play, I remember that, right? Like he got caught in between, like, should I throw it or should I tuck and run? And he kind of got caught in the middle of the two decisions and just got popped real good.
Yeah, can even happen on a snap, Tim. You know what I mean? You get your thumb jammed up in there. That's brutal. But yeah, no, I'm not worried about that on the non-throwing hand.
Yeah,
no issues.
again, I'd seen a couple tweets coming out, and there was articles written about it and this and that. And you know how it is. It's, hey, Jordan Love got an injury. Read the article, and then you get in there, and it's like, okay, no big deal. So just want to put everybody's mind at ease.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
That's right, Coach. So let's jump into the rest of the injury report before we get into some of the camp updates here, as Wes Hodkowitz always giving us the important information. Packers training camp practice number 13 returned. Marshawn Lloyd, gentlemen. Marshawn Lloyd's back in the house. We got running back Emmanuel Wilson back with the knee. We got offensive tackle Rasheed Walker with the groin. I want to say he was somewhat limited. I could be wrong there. We'll dive into all the details here in a minute. And cornerback Kamal Hadden with the hip. All right. New injury was cornerback Isaiah Dunn with the knee. Did not participate were Zane Anderson with the knee. You had running back Jalen White, I should say. Safety Xavier McKinney with the calf. Wide receiver Jaden Reed with the foot. Wide receiver Dontavion Wicks with the calf. Cornerback Nate Hobbs with the knee. Wide receiver Christian Watson with the knee. Defensive end Colin Oliver with the hammy. And, of course, offensive lineman John Williams, 7th-round pick there, I believe, with the back injury. So any of those that we're overly concerned with, or let's just kind of dive into the positive news, and that's the fact that we might just see Marshawn Lloyd this week against the Colts, right?
We're going to see Emmanuel Wilson too, hopefully. I'm like nothing like getting both of your banged up running backs back on the field at the same time. I'll take it. Yeah. Good to see Sheed back out there as well. Zane Anderson, we're not surprised by that given what happened on Saturday, but I'm going to focus on the positive here. Marshawn Lloyd back in the fold, Emmanuel Wilson back in the fold, Sheed Walker back in the fold, and Kamal Hadden back in the fold. That's good news right there.
Yeah, I'm going to second all that because I think it's going to be nice to see what Marshawn can just put a little bit more out there just to make sure that, what Matt sees is, what actually comes out on tape. Rasheed, good to have him back. Let's kind of see where the line's set up after that. I think Matt's going to kind of keep all of what he said he was probably going to keep all the starters off this game, which makes sense. You don't want them playing in Indy or whatever on a different field. Bring them back into Green Bay when you're at home, playing on the grass. So when you're getting used to, playing that season opener. So I'm totally fine with that. But, Kamal Hadden will get some more reps. And I still think that he might put Lloyd out there just depending on how that groin's feeling.
I think it's a great point, Emilio, because I didn't even think about it either. They got that turf there in Indianapolis. Don't get your starters out there on it. You had them play on Lambeau Saturday night, right? Don't put them on that turf for this week against the Colts, and then next week bring them back to Lambeau, let them get their last little bit of game time in before the season starts, and then you got 2 home games. So I like that, and I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. So again, they're gonna be a part of the joint practice. I imagine they probably have grass on that field. I hope they do. I can't imagine they're out there practicing on turf, but I could be wrong. But nonetheless, when you talk about the saying that we always have, you can't make the club in the tub. When you look at some of these players, right, like returning Kamal Hadden, that's going to help him obviously try to give him a shot to make this 53. New injury, Isaiah Dunn, that's going to hurt him. That's the epitome of can't make the club in the tub right there, right? Jalen White, another one. You hate that he's missing time because it's going to pretty much knock him out of making the club for the most part. Offensive lineman John Williams, I feel like now his back's kind of against the wall, no pun intended with the back injury. I could see it be something where they try to start him on PUP, or maybe it's just a red shirt year, throw him on IR and you're done for the year type thing, because he's so far behind now. You know what I mean, Tim? Like he hasn't been able to practice at all. And, of course, Colin Oliver, that's when I feel like you're going to bend the camp rules a little bit and try to get him back as soon as possible, get him acclimated to the defense.
I agree. And Jeff Hafley echoed that in his presser the other day. They're looking forward to getting Colin Oliver out there on the field. The one we didn't talk about, and I don't want to, get anyone panicked here, but Tay Wicks with this calf, man, this has kind of been an off and on kind of thing. I'm wondering, how serious that really is. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because he's not on the field, and hopefully another week, like you said, great point, Emilio. We don't want you to get turf toe on top of a calf injury. Let's hold these guys out while we can, and come back from Indy and try and hit the ground running. Because, if you count that Seattle Seahawks final preseason game, we've got 3 home games in a row, so why risk it on a road trip, right? Let's get through joint practice. Like you said, Clayton, half the time joint practice is more interesting than the actual preseason game. It gets a little chippy out there. So I think we got to protect these guys. But, when I see Jayden Reed with the foot, and we're kind of wondering what's going on with that, and I see Tay Wicks keep popping up with this calf, you kind of got to scratch your head and wonder if these guys are going to be available long term,
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Anything else, Emilio? We good on the injuries?
Yeah, no, I think that's true, though. Hopefully we'll see anything, after Indy. But, yeah, that's kind of tough. And did you hear in Hafley's presser he was saying that Colin Oliver is getting, he's in the D-line group or reps right now, and he's, learning D-line at the moment.
I missed that. What did he say?
He was just they were kind of asking him about him. He goes, they were asking if he's D-line linebacker. He goes, well, he is working with the D-line right now. And then,
Nice.
kind of just went into, he's picking it up, kind of getting it, but still a lot to learn.
Yeah. Got it, man. Good stuff. All right, let's dive into the offensive side of the ball real quick and let you guys know what happened over there, who stood out, maybe who struggled a bit. Wes Hodkiewicz put this tweet out, said, injuries at receiver means a ton of first team work today for Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, who is back after not playing Saturday. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Savion Williams on Saturday against the Colts. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's the one that I want to see probably more than anyone at the moment, especially after seeing Baron Sorrell kind of flash a little bit the other night. There were several people. Jordan Morgan really stepped up. I feel like he had a heck of a game. If we get the Chalk Talk today, we'll break down some of his better reps as well. But I don't know, Tim, you excited about seeing Savion out there? And granted, it's not going to be with Jordan, so we do have to grade on a curve a little bit. Like, all right, guys, let's don't expect him to go out there and be a world beater. It's going to be the second, third, and fourth string quarterback out there throwing him balls if he does get significant time. But I think this is great news here. And like you were saying with Tay Wicks, Tim, it's tough for Tay because you got these young whippersnappers, man. I mean, Savion looks like a stallion, dude.
Yeah.
And that's somebody that will take your job really, really quick.
Yeah, I mean, both of these guys, we're talking about Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, two dynamic receivers in their own ways, two excellent draft picks. And it is tough, man. If you're a guy like Jayden Reed or Tay Wicks right now, obviously Reed's a little bit more comfortable. He's our dude. We know that. But I feel for Tay Wicks right now not being on the field because this is prime time for him to get these reps, and to your point, with the ones not running, I feel good. I feel good about our quarterbacks, right? Malik Willis is going to get that ball out there. I'm sure Sean Clifford will play better, and we got Air Canada. So I think we're not going to suffer in quarterback play at all. It'll be fun to watch this game. But, yeah, looking forward to seeing Savion Williams out there because this poor guy, man, ups and downs ever since his feet hit the ground after draft day. So let's get him on the field consistently and see what he can do.
Yeah, and who knows? You may see him in a little bit of that pony package, Emilio.
I'd love to. I want Matt to use him as that moving H. I think he can. I think that's the ability for him. The issue is picking up the playbook. I think it was DJ it was Ross Tucker and Greg Cosell, or the install with Greg Cosell. They were talking about football is not very complicated, but it's super detailed. I think that's where, in Matt LaFleur's offense, somebody coming into the NFL brand new, going through injuries, all that. I just want to see if that explosiveness that he has on tape, it transfers to the NFL. And if I see that, I'm good. I really don't care what else he does in the game. I just want to see that, that speed, that explosiveness he has is there.
Yeah. Cheesehead Murph says, how long does Love play? Love is, to the best of my knowledge, Murph, he is not playing at all on Saturday. It's just going to be the joint practice, right? So
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked in that.
yeah, we'll see him next week for sure. So I don't think I want to say it's all the starters, right? Although
I think it's all the ones, right? Didn't Matt say that?
Yeah. So
I'm hoping that's true, but
yeah.
I don't
But
know.
it's funny too, though, Tim, because like we see Jordan Morgan as a one at right guard. Does that mean he's not going to play at all, or is he going to play left tackle? You know what I'm saying? So there's still a little bit of that mix and match that I'm trying.
Well, you would think, right? Sheed's back on the field, right? But we're not going to run with the one. So if Sheed truly is our starting left tackle, then that would mean, JM should be our starting left tackle. In my mind, I'm hoping. We'll see.
Me too. All right. There you go. So Ryan Wood tweeted this out. In competitive period on 2-point plays, Packers offense beats the defense 3-2. Jordan Love 2, Savion Williams. Amar Johnson up the middle, continuing to impress. Love
Here's the guy.
Jordan Love incomplete to Tucker Kraft, who was open but slipped. All right. Jordan Love to Malik Heath, check. And then Jordan Love to Josh Jacobs, intercepted by Keyshawn Nixon. So Keyshawn Nixon flashing a little bit. And again, that's the thing that sucks about training camp. One positive means a negative. You know what I mean? It means, all right, somebody else screwed the pooch there. How do you feel? How confident are you with Keyshawn Nixon this year, Emilio? We're going to dive into the defensive side here in a little bit, but I think this says more about Keyshawn Nixon than Jordan Love here, because it does seem like he is really, really stepping up.
Yeah, I think he's ready for this season. I think that he kind of knows what he's stepping into. We talked about it at the end of last year that, he's kind of ready to take over that number one corner role. I mean, hey, you brought in a little competition from free agency. You got Carrington, right at your heels. But I think that he knew coming into the season what he needed to do to kind of hold down that first spot and be a leader for this team. I think he's done that. And, hey, you make plays like that, let's see it on the field. I didn't love I think when he had to switch on that cover one where Fields scrambled, I think he switched to the spy and he just got squared up with Justin Fields and just beat to the corner. I'm not going to hold it against him. Didn't love it, but I'm not mad at him, right? So I want him to keep grinding and sort of put that behind him and be ready for the season.
Yeah, there's not many people in the league
right
that would run down Justin Fields in that situation. Just being honest, that was one of those. Everybody's back to the ball except for the spy, like you said. He kind of drifted over.
But he wasn't even spying first. Like his guy was, It was a mesh, and his guy went and I think it was Coop or somebody passed him off. So then he had to quickly adjust to, I'm spying the QB, and he took off.
I think he slipped a little bit too, as he was coming out of the break too. Not making excuses, but I feel it, man.
Justin Fields, man, he's an athletic freak, dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Certainly more athletic than the guy that the Bears replaced him with, for sure.
I would agree with that.
As far as Keyshawn goes, K9's a dog. We know this. To Emilio's point, he's been ready for this since we cleaned out our lockers last year, right? Ready to step up, and I've seen it. First one on the field, last one to leave every single day of camp. It's good to have him in our locker room, man. And I think he is one of those guys, just like we talked about Nate Hobbs and Xavier McKinney, guys that are in your secondary and they just pick up the rest of that room. And I'm just happy K9's here, man. I think he's going to make a step this year, guys. I really do.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Amar Johnson, man, this is one of those situations I talked about how I used to keep tally of training camp and be like, okay, positive mark, negative mark, positive mark, negative mark. At the end of camp, 2 or 3 days before final cut, tally it all up, and it kind of gives you a good remove the emotion. Here's how they actually performed in camp. Not that you're going to see every snap, not that every snap's going to get tweeted out. There's going to be stuff that's lost in the fold. You just do the best you can. Amar Johnson, up to this point, I can't think of one negative mark, Tim. Not one so far in this early training.
Best guy around.
And again, you look at the running back room, and it's hard to say, oh, yeah, he's going to make the roster, because that means Chris Brooks wouldn't make the roster, essentially.
Right.
What do you mean? We can't keep 16 running backs? Come on, guys.
And Chris Brooks might not make the roster either. He may be one that they try to put on the practice squad again, because we broke camp last year with 3 running backs, right?
I'm going to be honest. I think Chris Brooks has got enough on tape to this point that, I don't think he's necessarily 100% safe there. He could get picked up.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I think he's primed for the pick. And now Amar Johnson, I have a hard time believing the Packers are the only team that was kind of high on him, because, man, he played really, really well in college, Yep. So, again, if I had to choose between the two, if I was going to carry 4 and protect one, I think I would, as much as I love Amar Johnson, I'm probably keeping Chris Brooks and then trying to stash Amar Johnson on the practice squad. But, man, I would not be surprised if he does get picked up.
What about Izzy Abinaconda?
Yeah, for me,
was good in special teams to me.
Yeah, now he was straightforward, like Matt praised him in the special teams and the kick return. That's what you want to do on that kick return now. Don't get the dancing, get north and south and try to hit a seam, right? But I have not seen enough of Izzy to determine, yes, I like him more than Amar Johnson. To me, it's not even close right now, and I could be wrong, but I like Amar Johnson way better than Izzy. What do you think, Amelia? How do you see that running back room shaking up there?
I like Amar too. I think that Izzy, if we really wanted, we could stash him on the practice squad. I think he might be able to slip through. Amar, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher, still possibly doable, but I do think Chris Brooks still kind of holds that ace in his sleeve. He's just a do-it-all. The fact that Matt can use him in a receiving, blocking, pass, and run, and he can run the ball, I think it's just too valuable to Matt right now.
Got it. Anything else on the running backs, Tim? Good, man.
No, it's a great point, Emilio.
All right, so here's a little clip of Matthew Golden running an out route tweeted out by Ryan Wood during practice earlier today. Matthew Golden out route from Jordan Love. Ball a little bit behind Matthew Golden, but, man, Matthew Golden, I know he only had one catch, only one target in that game, but I like to see where they lined him up. They put him in the Z on that one catch, right? They actually had him boundary Z on that catch, which, you're lined up. It was a dub set, 2x2 set, tied in on his side, short side of the field, and you could kind of see the corner did not want to get burnt deep. You know what I mean? He was just kind of like, all right, I know this kid can take the top off the defense. Quick little jab step. He was inside. Great hands. I'm excited to see what Matthew Golden can do this year. It's just one of those players that, again, man, I'm always going to go back to it. The most recent wide receiver that I can remember that flashed his rookie year in training camp was Romeo Doubs. However, he was also having drop issues.
Yep.
I remember him cooking Jair Alexander off the line deep, cooking Eric Stokes off the line deep, and we're going, whoa, this late-round pick, Emilio, is eating up 2 first-round cornerbacks
Right.
that he drafted, right? Now, however, he got on the jugs machine. Romeo fixed the drops, albeit struggled on Saturday. Had I don't know if you count on both as drops or not, but didn't catch the football and on his way. But Matthew Golden, this is 1 or 2 levels higher than Romeo was his rookie year, in my opinion. Am I giving too much credit there to Yard?
No, I think that's spot on. His hands are too sticky. Like he really does catch basically everything, and he's so smooth. He really went that release, quick slant, boom, in the hands out away from the body, bring it in, catch, first down. And it really looked too easy. And I think that if you have that and you have, Jaden Reed opposite, you got Tucker Kraft working out, I think Matt can kind of really get busy with that setup. He just needs to put his head down, keep doing what you're doing right now, and I'm happy.
Yep.
Matthew Golden's crushing it right now.
And obviously he looks nothing like this guy, right? Nothing at all like this guy. One thing that stood out to me, I know it's preseason, but, we talk about rookies, especially rookie receivers in this league, having to kind of earn that respect, from the veterans and also from the officials. A lot of times you see rookies, they're not going to get that PI call. We saw the first PI on Matthew Golden, and the flag was thrown immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the respect is already there. You look at the way he moves and the way he plays the game. He doesn't look like a rookie on the field, and I think it's important to remember that if he's polished, he's ready. He's got sticky hands. He's got good footwork. He grasps the concepts. Jordan is clearly getting used to throwing the football to him, and I think maybe some of these balls might have been a little later behind because he's just realizing how fast Matthew Golden really is out of the break. And I think once these two kind of connect and get that timing down, he's going to prove to be, one of those targets that Jordan can lean on, much like a Tucker Kraft or a Romeo Doubs, in a pinch. I think Matthew Golden's going to be hyper reliable, down the stretch.
Yeah, Judy. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mario.
No, I was just going to say, Clay, did you feel like those 2 first drives was like, all right, 2 passes to Dobbs, 2 passes to Matt, and then let's keep moving?
It was and it was weird too because they kind of targeted Sauce Gardner on that first drive. It was almost like, but at the same time, I don't think the coaches go out there and go, all right, here's the deal, Jordan. Hammer 2 slants here.
And I didn't either. I was just wondering because it did kind of work out. Maybe you were like, all right, let's just see what Dobbs has against their number 1 sort of thing. Get him out there, get a rep. Okay, cool, good to know. But no, I was just curious. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. And I thought the same thing. It felt almost orchestrated.
Yeah.
But once I stepped back, I'm like, you know what? No, I don't think that was the case. Maybe I was kind of in my own head there. But Drew D says Golden is making a case to be our wide receiver 1, although Reed will have something to say about that. Obviously, Reed's still in the walking boot right now. It was cool to see the whole team doing push-ups earlier, and you had Jaden Reed out there, had had that boot tucked over the other ankle doing push-ups with the team, right? Love to see that.
Yep.
But, I don't see it as a wide receiver one, Drew. You guys know I look at that a little different. I look in terms of deployment. I don't look at it and go, okay, this guy's going to be the wide receiver one. I look at it like, all right, Jaden's going to play your F. He's going to play slot, right? You're going to have Matthew Golden, it looks like is going to be the Z, which we fully expected that. And you're going to have Romeo Dobbs, who's going to be your X. That's what it feels like right now. Now, where does Savion fit in? Is he going to be kind of like Wicks was, and he would fill in the X but play mostly slot and kind of spell Jaden Reed? Will that happen? Will he be the backup slot receiver? Will they kick someone else into the slot? So I don't really look at it like a wide receiver one. Now, if you're saying he's going to have more targets, based on Matt LaFleur's offense, I would still lean towards the slot getting the majority of the targets, because that's the guy that's schemed open the most when you're talking about concepts like slot cross and dagger, right? That's especially dagger out of a trip set, because the dagger out of the trip set, your F is going to be the 2, and he's going to be the 1, right, to work the middle of the field. So your 3 will run the go. Imagine a trips left, and you're going to run a slot cross concept, or I'm sorry, a dagger concept on the inside. The outside would be slot cross. He's going to run those crossers. He's going to run those digs. So I would still lean toward Reed getting the most production. But Golden is going to be that guy, just like Christian Watson, who if he's playing Z, he's going to be running a lot of deep balls. Not just deep balls, but, they run those stalk routes as well, right? Talked about those. He'll also run that. They love to run this combo play where they'll go like they'll go with a 12 personnel typically, play action set, and both receivers have choice routes where they can decide either turn it into a go or like an 18-yard curl route, right? And it's a choice route. I think Golden is made for that.
Yeah.
I mean, be able to get the safety and or the corner to flip their hips and then just chop it down. He's got the footwork to do that. Could be Golden, man, if that's what you mean by targets and production. But I would put my money on the slot being that guy, And if Jaden Reed ain't healthy, here's the other thing we got to think about too. Let me pull the depth chart up. I really hadn't even thought about this. Imagine, let's say worst case scenario, Jaden Reed ain't ready week 1. Okay. Dobbs is your X. Who's going to be your Z? Are you going to keep Matthew Golden at the Z and try to put Wicks into the slot? Oh, Tim, we can't. His calf's banged up, right? What if he isn't ready? So now it kind of feels like Hardman may end up being your slot.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
It's either that or you put Hardman at the speed Z and put Matthew Golden into the slot, although Matthew Golden, it seems like the majority of his camp reps have been in Z and moving Z. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's how I look at the wide receiver room. I don't look at it in terms of, all right, who's going to get the most targets? I typically look at it like, how are we going to use them in terms of deployment?
I think that's true of the whole wide receiver one conversation in Matt LaFleur's offense. Wide receiver one is going to be, whoever's probably featured week to week based on the matchups, based on the game plan, right? I mean, we saw when Jordan went down last year and Malik Willis gave us, some really quality starts as our quarterback. It was a completely different game plan. We pounded the rock, we ran the ball a lot, ran a lot of RPO, RPR kind of looks, a little bit of different vibe than what we did with Jordan. So even if you have your starters on the field, everyone's healthy week to week, I think with the depth you have in the receiver room, you're going to see a featured receiver probably every single week. And it's not necessarily going to be the same guy. I think we've got a couple guys that are legit wide receiver ones by traditional standards. And then we've got a gang of guys that are wide receiver twos. And when you have a receiver room like that, in a tight end room like we have, running back room like we have, there's no shortage of targets and guys that you can feature. So I think the old days of, just throw the ball to Tay kind of mentality is those are long gone. We're going to feature someone every week, I think, in this offense.
Yeah. Blake B in the chat says Matt LaFleur definitely doesn't care about having a wide receiver one. The system is the system. And Drew D, that's what I thought you were saying. Drew says, yeah, I meant production per game. Yeah. And again, Matthew Golden may take that production and run with it. Right. But all it's going to take, Emilio, is one or two times them taking the top off the defense, and now all of a sudden let's start to bend a little coverage, a little bracket in his direction. That opens everything up underneath, because that's what happened to Reed in the second half of the season. The injuries piled up. You started seeing the coverage really clamp down on the crossers, the drags, the shallows, all those things on Reed, and his targets went way down, way down. Now, what did they start trying to do? They started trying to get the ball to Tucker a little bit more, started trying to get the ball to Dontavion Wicks a little bit more, a little bit further down the field at that mid to deep range. So now another thing that comes into factor here, Emilio, is the tight ends. Let's say, again, worst case scenario, Jayden Reed isn't ready week 1, Dontavion Wicks ain't ready week 1. We're about to see 12 personnel, ain't we?
Yeah. No, I think we have to, because I was kind of thinking about how many wide receivers would we even have at that point. Is Bo flipping back to wide receiver if Wicks is down, Reed's down, and then you don't have Christian Watson, you're running low on receivers there. But I think the tight end's going to be huge. Matt did sort of lean into that, or whoever in the game a little bit. I love seeing the two tight end sets. We'll get them shifting across. So, one time Musgrave was out. Stand up. I like that we're kind of working the in, the out there, H-back, all that stuff. Tucker Kraft's going to have a big year this year, man. I think that's the case. And I want Musgrave I want him to get, a couple hundred yards here or there. I want to get some big receptions out of him. I think that'll boost him and this offense if we have another threat there, and they have to take their eyes off Tucker a little.
I agree. If there's a guy you want to, I don't want to say force the ball to, but if you want to make a concerted effort to get the ball in his hands and get him going, I think it's Luke Musgrave. I really do. I agree with that.
Fishy things in the chat says LaFleur ran a big slot in Tennessee. I wouldn't be surprised to Savion in the slot. That's what we always referred to with the people I've studied under as a slot bully, where you get one of those big body receivers in the slot. It's kind of what we try to do with Allen Lazard a little bit. We did a little bit with Mike McCarthy too. I'm trying to think who we brought in. Oh, when we bring in Jimmy Graham, they would kick him into the slot and let him play a little slot bully. And the reason being is if they treat that like a receiver, like let's say you get Savion out there in the slot, they go to 11 personnel. And let's just say we come out in a dub set. So we're strong right, 2x2, Savion in the slot left. They got a little bitty nickel back, right, playing him. And let's say you go, if he's slot left, if Savion's slot left, and you got Matthew Golden Z right, and they do have to bend the coverage a bit, well, guess what? You go inside zone left if you're in a sidecar right, and you got Savion digging out that nickel back, and then you go duo with that inside zone, and you get a lineman to the second level on a backer. Josh Jacobs is about to give you that Jacksonville Jaguars game 2.0. You know what I mean? That's a lot of stuff that can happen there. And again, we got to see Savion though. I hope Savion is worthy of the third-round pick, but we got to see it first. He could, just like any of these, we're all gushing over Matthew Golden, guys. The reality is he could end up being a bust. Like, it's early. But and it's funny, too, because there's some people that were, that's hounding other people that are like, they're pretending like because of the week 1 preseason performance there against the Jets, this team's going to be horrible, right? On the flip side, too, if they go out and they ball out against Indianapolis, we got to kind of let's stay down here, right? It's never as bad as it seems. It's never as good as it seems, right? But everything we're seeing from Matthew Golden, man, I haven't been this excited about a wide receiver in a long, long time. Can I be completely honest? And y'all are going to laugh at me. I wasn't this excited about Davante Adams. I wasn't, because Davante was just kind of this ISO game, right? Yeah. And it was like, well, if he like Aaron said over and over and over, I don't even know what Davante's going to run, right? Davante's got the freedom to run whatever he wants, and it's just kind of pitch and catch. Matthew Golden's a different element, man.
Yeah. Well, and even before that point, anyone who says they were excited about Tay Adams is a liar, because everyone was ready to run him out of town after his first 2 years in Green Bay. So I think in that respect, Matthew Golden is kind of worth the hype at this point, because we're seeing it very, very early, very, very quickly.
Yeah. And right, if it was just the 4.2 40 speed, I wouldn't be as excited. But for me, it's the fluidity in and out of the breaks with the short to intermediate pass, route running, and the strong hands. That's what's got me so fired up, and the body control that we've seen on the college team. So really, really excited to see what he can do this year for sure. All right. moving along here, Ryan Wood put this out, said Packers backfield getting healthy with Emmanuel Wilson and Marshawn Lloyd back to practice. So just give you a quick little clip. Here's Lloyd on this one right here. Looks like there's no limitations whatsoever, right? It's like he's got that burst. There's nothing to be concerned about there. I just want to see him. We may not see him this week. It might not be till next week before we see him in game. But when we do get him back out there, it's going to be exciting. Because the reality, Tim, is Matt LaFleur was very, very, very excited about Marshawn Lloyd last year before he got hurt. I remember him. He specifically referred to him as that little rocket in the backfield. Like he impressed him from day one, right? And, of course, we always talk about Daniel Jeremiah, former NFL scout. Marshawn Lloyd was his top-ranked back in that draft. So hopefully he can stay healthy, man.
He has that look of, like, prototypical running back, right? Like, if you saw a picture of Marshawn Lloyd and you knew nothing about where he played, and I asked you what position does he play, I mean, the guy looks like a freaking running back, a total natural. It's just the ups and downs with the injuries have kind of stymied his growth. I think that the minute this guy, gets some consistent play, I think he's going to jump up the depth chart when it's all said and done. I really do.
Yeah. I just want hope for him to stay healthy, get through this. Groins don't want it to be a nagging kind of thing this year. And, with that explosiveness, looks like he's got it there. So I'm cool with that. Keep going.
Yeah. And Drew D says, I don't want to see Lloyd or Wilson in the preseason. I can respect that, Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to get them out there and get them banged up. Now, one guy that struggled the other day in the preseason game, McCole Hardman, had a horrible game. I'm going to be honest, that caught me completely off guard. The muff punt, the drop, I'm pretty sure it was a third down, the out route just right through his hands, would have moved the sticks. Like that really, really surprised the heck out of me. But Dominic Yates got this soundbite from the locker room. It says, quote, "It won't happen again. We'll be better this weekend." McCole Hardman said he won't let costly mistakes in preseason debut linger as he tries to make the Packers roster. Let's see what the newly added wide receiver here to the Packers roster, McCole Hardman, had to say.
Make smart decisions. I think that's what it all boils down to, making the right decision, the right choices out there on the field, rather it's, letting the punt drop, making a fair catch. Don't catch inside the 5. Don't try to pick it up after the second, the ball bounce, the second time. Things that I already know, you know what I mean? And like you said, the competitive nature in yourself, want to make a play, want to make things happen. But at the end of the day, you got to make the smart decisions and the best decisions that's going to be for the team. Even though it's preseason, you still want to, build those good habits. And that's something that, I'm accustomed to doing, building good habits and knowing what to do. So I take responsibility of those mistakes that I made, and it won't happen again. So we'll be better this weekend.
I love it. So basically exactly what Coach Bisaccia has said, right?
Yeah.
He had a feeling that McCole was just trying to be that spark and, maybe try to do a little too much. I mean, think about it. It's the first time other than family night that McCole Hardman's been in a Packer uniform at 1265 playing a game. So I'm sure the adrenaline was pumping. And, he knows he's a veteran. He knows what he needs to do. So I'm not worried. How about you guys? I fully expect a rebound from him.
I love what Drew D says here too. He said, "Is that a fighter jet earring?" Did you see that?
Yeah.
I've seen him up close when he walks by on Armed Forces Drive there on the way into practice. They are jet airplanes earrings.
He could see it all the way over on the east side.
You already know.
The Fox River.
You already know.
Blinded him on the way out. Yeah, no, it's tough. He knows not to do it right. So I like what Coach Lynn said there. Turn the page, Hardman short memory. You can't take that time back. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree, man. All right, so Matthew Golden.
Clint, you're terrible.
We need that soundbite. Charlie Murphy. Ryan Wood tweeted out after his first catch in the Packers uniform Saturday night, Matthew Golden said he got some positive feedback from Sauce Gardner. So here is what Matthew Golden had to say in the locker room. Talking about, it's pretty impressive to be able to go over, dap up with Sauce Gardner, one of the best cornerbacks in the game. And let's see what he had to say here.
What did that do for your confidence to get him on that stage like that?
It was just, trying to get my feet wet. First NFL game, get back out there, get the feeling of, just playing football again. The first 2 catches, or the first catch, it felt good. First catch of my career. But, I still got a lot of work to do. And, I'm ready for what's in front of me.
Sauce Gardner say anything to you?
Nah, he just told me keep going. We talked after the game. You know, I talked to him, Garrett Wilson. You know, they gave me some feedback. You know, just told me to keep going. You know, rookie year, and just stay confident, keep playing hard.
Where do you feel like you're at as far as just with this offense?
I like that. You know, it just hit me too.
That whoever he has as an actual barber is perfect, and whoever they have at EA needs to get fired.
You're fired.
Oh my God.
Can we talk about how bad Sauce Gardner wants to be a Green Bay Packer for a second?
Seriously, with the cheesehead and everything.
Oh my goodness! I mean, he gets along with our guys so well. You know, well respected. You know,
Make it happen.
Talented corner. Certainly loves Green Bay. Obviously, you know, he wears the cheese head every time he's in town. I think Sauce really secretly wants to be a Packer. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah,
2-0 for this hit the nail on the head too. Sauce talks, but he also respects. I think he loves the game of football. Anytime I hear Sauce Gardner, and you're right, man, he is spicy out on the field, dude. During the game, as a fan, watching him chirp, I just want to somebody smack him in the mouth, please. But then the game's over, it's like, how can you not respect that, dude?
You talk that talk and walk the walk, man. You got to respect it.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it.
All right, so that is your offensive up. Oh, I just want to say this real quick. He mentioned Garrett Wilson. He talked to Garrett Wilson too. That's a real good comp for Matthew Golden.
Oh yeah,
Garrett Wilson. If I remember correctly, somebody look it up for me in the chat if you don't mind. What was Garrett Wilson's 40 time? I want to say he was pretty quick. It was at least a 4.4. It might have been a 4.3.
I want to say 4.4.
But very smooth, very, very. I mean, just it's the
He's
second.
just a little longer, right? He's a little bit longer than Matthew.
I was thinking he was about the same size. I could be wrong. I was thinking Garrett Wilson was closer to like 5'11", 5'10", but I could.
Oh, okay.
Could be wrong. Yeah,
I like your comp then, Clay. I thought he was a little bit taller, but okay, 4.3.
4.38.
Yeah, and I was trying to think, like, who's Matthew Golden remind me of? And I always say early on Greg Jennings, but Greg Jennings doesn't have the speed that Matthew Golden's got.
Right.
And then as soon as he mentioned Garrett Wilson, I'm like, that's who he reminds me of. And don't get me wrong, he's got to go out there and do it. Like, Garrett Wilson he has performed at the highest level at the NFL, right? And obviously Matthew Golden's got to go out there and put it on tape. But, yeah. Coach Lynn, I've been trying to think of a comp for Golden. It's hard. It really is. But I think Garrett Wilson might be it. Let's see. Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to find a comp when you're a one of one, right? I mean, it's pretty tough.
Yeah. Somebody get me. I need to know his height. I need to know Garrett Wilson's height, and then we'll wrap up.
I could have swore he was a little bit longer, but that's fine. Either way, I mean, I really do like that comp. Come in here and show up, play.
2-0 for this says the comp is Randy Moss.
Be a crackhead.
I don't think it's Randy Moss at all.
Got hold to the wrong stuff.
There you go. So 6 foot. You're right, Amelia. A little bit taller, right? A little bit longer. Is Garrett Wilson at 6 foot? Daryl's got it there too. So 6 foot 183. So Golden's a little thicker then, right? Wasn't Golden 190? I think so. Yeah.
Thick.
He is. That's right, Coach Half. All right, that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2, where we're going to hit the defensive side of the updates for training camp. We'll see you over. We appreciate you.